Radio Rahim with the Haymaker, David Haye. I gotta say, we might have to change this name, man. This is like the money maker, the cheddar maker, the fight maker. This guy, all he gotta do is beat the guy up, and then you get him paid. So if I take like one shot from you, can I get like one check?
We can work something out. I'll work something out. I'll get you something.
I see you on the side here with Fournier, obviously famously on the side with Chisora. And now, once again, like Fournier's in the middle of this crossover boxing spotlight.
Pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
Sold out pay-per-view event.
What's the secret? How are you getting your former opponents these incredible paydays?
It's their personalities. It's the fact that they're willing to do the right marketing surrounding themselves. It's not just about what you do in the gym. You gotta have a personality that connects with the public. Whether it's they love you or they hate you, you just don't want to be in the middle. So if someone has that personality, Chisora definitely had it, Joe's definitely got it, so it makes it easy to get the opportunities.
You were the kind of celebrity that KSI is and Jake Paul is before there was social media. You managed to bring this personality to the forefront and get that kind of like crossover following. When you see both of these guys pursuing their career now, what kind of changes do you think has been made in boxing and the way that they're getting attention, the kind of fights that they're having, as opposed to how you had to do it?
Yes, the sport's evolving. There was no bloody internet when I started. It was a long time ago. No Twitter, no Facebook, no YouTube. So with the technology side of it coming into play, you can, you have shows that are just streamed exclusively on YouTube or these different streaming platforms, DAZN, Triller. You've got so many amazing companies that people are putting big money behind, which is then stimulating the boxing economy, because shows like Misfits here, this 007 show, my daughter, she's never shown any interest in coming to boxing, but she's going to be there on Saturday. She's 12 years old, she wants to go down there, she knows all of the fighters. This is good for boxing because it gets the next generation, the new generation coming through, interested in boxing. If they watch the Misfits, they might want to watch Canelo or Garcia or Tank, or there's so many different amazing fighters out there that are going to get recognized by these young kids now that they're interested in boxing. So I think it's the best thing that ever happened to boxing.
Yeah, I've said the same from the start in Manchester some 4 years ago.
People hate it for some reason. You get these boxers going, oh yeah, they don't deserve that money. Well, if they sold out the venue and they sold 1 million pay-per-view buyers, who should get that money? People are paying to see them. But people don't pay to see you. You need to do something with your marketing. Right. And that's the difference.
I think the culture of boxing, though, is infectious no matter how much money or celebrity you have, because they were making plenty of money fighting each other. But in both cases now, coming this Saturday night, each has felt the need to fight a real boxer, a traditional boxer, a contender. And so when KSI comes up and meets this challenge on Saturday night, what is he not understanding about boxing that makes Fournier your pick for the favorite on Saturday?
I think it's real live rounds under the lights. There's been few fights where KSI has gone into that he wasn't a heavy favourite and the guy in the other corner had real boxing experience. That hasn't happened yet. He's fought Swarms, he's fought guys who came to win in their heart, but he didn't know what winning a boxing match was like because they'd never done it before. Joe's sparred, he's fought people all over the world. He did 8 rounds of me. He's been in the boxing game for a while, and I've never seen KSI deal with anything like that in the ring. Maybe he's done it behind closed doors in sparring. I watched him spar probably 1.5 years ago, and he would have needed to improve times 10 to be at the level where he could beat a legitimate boxer like Joe. So maybe the Alexis and Marius down at Line and Shooters, who I know very well, and they're telling me he has. That's the thing, guys who I respect, who I know they know what they're talking about, are telling me Joe's getting smashed. They're telling me, my buddy's like, it's like your boy's getting smashed up in a couple of rounds. I'm like, I don't really see it that way. I'm like, I've never seen, but they've seen something. I was in Miami with Joe a week ago, and he's doing all of the things he needs to do. I was watching him do 6 good quality, fast-paced rounds. He was like, okay, that should be what I saw in the ring in KSI's last fight. But maybe the fighters he's been fighting, because they're not boxers, don't bring the best out in him. Sometimes when, for instance, if I fought somebody who never fought before, it would be hard to look good. Sometimes it's easier to look good as someone who's can hold their shape together, they're not crossing their feet, they're not throwing crazy punches because they've learnt boxing. So I understand why KSI may not have looked as as polished as a boxer against the guys he's been fighting, because these guys couldn't bring the best out in him. And it was him just trying to force it and use his youth and his power to get the fights done.
This is a real good money grab for Fournier, but if he were to win on Saturday night, that's an incredible opportunity maybe to make a huge amount of money for a rematch or even move on, as I've been saying. I think he would face Tommy Fury. Yeah. What is his mindset going in? Because he seemed to be joking, like, I've already won, I got the money.
He wants to win, believe me. He wants to win. He gives it all that. No, he's coming to win, believe me. He wouldn't have trained so hard. He's dedicated himself. He's got a nutritionist. He's got a full-time masseuse. He's got literally the whole infrastructure around him so he can be the best on Saturday night. He's got everything around him. He really wants it. He's invested a lot of money in his training to make sure that he's as good as he can be. And he only does that because he wants to win. Believe me, he wants to win.
Well, if he does beat KSI, then I think all of a sudden Jake Paul might want to fight a different boxer. Probably want to fight Fournier. Before we get there, but what do you think of Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, first in the squared circle? Is Jake Paul going to get another W?
I'm not sure. As long as Diaz just calms the smoking down night of fight, it'll be. He's a good boxer. He's a very, very accomplished. But I think Joe's sparred with him. I asked Joe about him. He's done some sparring with him in the past. You saw him against McGregor. His punching is his best weapon, in my opinion. And he's got a great chance. A bit old now, very shock warm. Plenty of punches on the target he's received over the years. But it's an interesting fight. He's not a traditional boxer, no. But he's a big name. He's got the UFC fans and the mixed martial arts fans who are going to be interested. It'll do good pay-per-view numbers because Diaz always gives great value for money. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a step down from Tommy Fury, but it's a step down to get his confidence back to maybe go back and take on another real boxer.
If he does win if he does win in August, I mean, does this Tommy Fury fight resurface? Does Jake have the ability to beat Tommy next time out?
I don't know, possibly. It wasn't. He knocked him down in the last round. It wasn't like a complete shutout at all. It was quite a close fight, I thought, particularly with that knockdown in the flash knockdown with the jab in the last round. It was quite a close fight. You wouldn't have said one was completely outclassed the other one. So I think if they was to do it again, the trajectory that Jake Paul's made in such a short period of time compared with Tommy Fury, who's been doing it since he was a little kid, he's obviously closed the gap in his experience. With dedication. BJ Flores. Literally with him pretty much every day, training and making sure that he's living a life as a fighter, not as an influencer YouTuber. And you saw the results. I thought it was a very good performance from someone who's fighting a real boxer for the first time.
I'd say the only guys in boxing that have the kind of social media presence that these two guys, KSI and Jake Paul, have would be Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, who we've just seen meet each other in the ring. What did you make of that fight?
I thought it was a great fight. I was there live for the fight. It was, Garcia started real aggressively, but got checked real early with that left. That they stepped down that left over the button, perfectly timed shot from Tank, and then he obviously took that body shot, and that was it. That was all that he could do. Even if he would have got up, he would have got put down. He would have got put back down again. But he can come again. He's a young kid. He was probably a little bit too light in that fight. His best days are a bit heavier, I believe. And it's not a bad loss. He wasn't like he took a lot of punishment. He took 5 or 6 big shots. Now he'll be back. He's got a massive social media following. He'll be back. He'll win world titles and he'll really establish himself. But I think he should stay away from Tank for a while.
Those of us who have never laced up the gloves professionally have no standing, but Canelo does. And he said, we as fighters, we must get up. Do you think Ryan could have gotten up and didn't continue?
I've never not been able to get up. I've taken some big shots, head and body, and I've always managed to get back to my feet. I've always been stopped on my feet when I have been stopped in the past. Everyone says it, but until you're in the position that the fighter is, I'd believe I would get back to my feet and go out guns blazing. That's how I see it. Maybe it was so excruciating he physically couldn't do it. It didn't look like it. But we don't know what was going through his mind. We don't know how he was feeling. I always try and give the fighter the benefit of the doubt. And he said he couldn't get up, but he got up at 11, or so it's like 11:09, 2 seconds. So, but he's a young kid. Oscar De La Hoya got put down. The same thing with Bernard Hopkins. He got some stick for it. You get fighters from time to time get put down with body shots and everyone goes, get up. But until you've been hit with one of those shots, it's and you know when you get, it's not like if he was winning the fight on points and he knocked Tank down a few and he's in the last round, I think he'd have got up. But because it was going so badly for him, so what's he getting up for? I can assume in his mind, it's like, okay, I could get up, but I'll just get put straight back down again. So, okay, I'm out.
Maybe one of the most famous get-ups in recent boxing history is Tyson Fury doing what we call the Undertaker against Deontay Wilder. And what we all hope for, I think, to a man and a woman in boxing, is to see this Final Four potentially happen in Saudi in December. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, Fury.
Sounds too good to be true. Sounds way too good to be true.
But isn't that what the Saudis brand is? We make fights that are too good to be true.
It's exactly what their brand is, but it's so good that I can't see it happen. Not on the same night. Right. I can't just see it. It's like it's too much. It's too much. My brain can't comprehend such a big event. I can't fathom it.
Well, knowing what we now know, I got to get your predictions. If we were to see this fight both on the same night, Joshua Wilder, how's that fight going?
It's a shootout. It's whoever will win the fight is the one who puts it on the line. We know Wilder isn't afraid to let his hands go. That's for sure. Last time out, AJ, I think too tentative. He did enough to win the fight against Franklin, but that was it. He did enough. He didn't bring the energy that would be required to beat a Wilder. To beat Wilder, standing off at long range, trying to have a jab match with him. That doesn't work. Wilder's got a very good jab, and he's got a big right hand, right uppercut, left hook, right leg. He's got that. So I believe AJ's best chance is to scrap what he was doing last time out and literally get involved, because he's such an amazing athlete. He's got the fighting ability in there, but he hasn't exercised that fighting muscle for a while. It's been a while since he's been in there having a fight. He didn't exercise it in the 2 fights with Usyk. He didn't exercise it his last fight. So when is he going to practice fighting? Is he practicing fighting in sparring behind closed doors, or is he trying to become a long-range boxer? Because I don't think being a long-range boxer against Wilder is a good option for him. I think he needs to, if you look at the person who had most success with Wilder, I think it was Ortiz and Fury. They both brought the fight to him. You have to be Wilder. You've got to get in. You've got to get busy. And currently AJ hasn't been getting busy. He's been trying to keep it. It looks like he's trying to keep safe and just trying to win the rounds, which is great. It's what boxing's about: hitting and not getting hit. But to beat the Goliaths of the division, you got to get stuck in. You got to do what Fury did to Wilder: walk across the ring and go to work. He can do it. He can do it. It's in him. He's a machine. He can do it, but he's got to practice doing it. I don't believe he's been practicing, because I haven't seen it. Particularly in that last fight, I was really underwhelmed with the last performance. I thought that was the perfect opportunity to show the world, look, I'm back. Look what I'm doing to this guy. He went 12 rounds with Dillian Whyte, and look, I've just chewed him up in 3 rounds. That would have been a statement, but it wasn't a statement. Okay, I've been practicing my long-range boxing, and I'm going to try and win the fight as economically as I can.
Fury's been getting a little bit of stick because we were expecting this Usyk fight some time ago now, maybe even at the end of last year. And if we don't get it till December, do you think that changes what might happen in the ring? And what do you make of the outcome?
I don't know. It's very strange. I try not to look into too much of the he said, she said, this offer, that offer, the behind the scenes negotiations. It just gets frustrating in boxing. You hear one thing, you get excited, then it's off, then it's on, then it's off. When they get in I think there's a reason why the fight hasn't been made yet. It's a reason somebody doesn't want to do it. They both say they do, but somebody doesn't. I've been in many situations when there's been a big fight, and I've always found a way to make it happen. You agree what you need to agree. If you both want it, you meet in the middle and make the fight happen. When someone's not meeting them, I thought it was overly generous of Usyk to accept the split that he accepted.
70-30.
So I thought that was a very generous offer. But hell, that's someone who really wants to make the fight, which in my opinion, I don't know how real that was. It was all said over the internet, but I didn't see a contract. But if he had done that, that's good. That's a step in the right direction in terms of him wanting it. But it still didn't happen after that. So when I believe it when I see them both in the ring. But as it goes on, as I've heard, I think Tyson is looking at fighting Andy Ruiz. Is that right?
That's the latest rumor. Yeah.
So that's fighting Andy Ruiz isn't a good preparation for a slick long-range boxing southpaw. So you'd think he'd fight a southpaw of some description to get him prepped for it, but he'll probably turn southpaw himself. But I don't know. I'll be excited when they both get in the ring, but I'm trying not to get excited until they do all the talk of this big Saudi four-way extravaganza. I'm getting excited, but I'm trying to keep a lid on it.
That's fair. I think we are both trying to keep a lid on our excitement. Me a little bit less than you, because I will be in the center of the ring if that happens. So I'm happy that always I get to see you at these fights. You find a way not only to be ringside, but to be responsible for putting them together in the first place. Unbelievable. One shot, one check. That's all I'm asking for. Radio Rahim with the moneymaker, the haymaker, David Haye.